I'm Robert, and I'm fortunate enough to be working today with some good friends and excellent professors, Soshi and Samuel, and we're going to take you through some fun basics and teach you how to make some wonderful kitchen table ceramics that you could make in your home. Hopefully you all have some sort of clay, and we're going to talk about basic tools. We're going to go down to almost if you have nothing, to basic things you might find around your house. First, you have your clay, and here I have a canvas board. You may not have a canvas board at home and probably don't. If you have an old piece of wood that's not too big, a great thing is a sheet you wrap around it, a pillowcase slides into it, and you have a beautiful canvas board. If you don't, nobody cares. We'll survive without it. We can use a standard kitchen tabletop. You do want to be careful. You never want to hurt your table. It should be fine. So we're going to work just on a nice tabletop and start with that. So right now, the first thing we're going to do is teach you how to throw out a beautiful slab at home. This does take practice. You could always recycle, and we'll teach you how to wedge up your clay so you could use it over and over again. So I'm going to start with a 25-pound bag of clay. If I'm throwing out a big slab, I prefer to cut it sideways. I'm going to cut it this way first, just so I could stretch it more and you could see what can be done. So we want to open up our clay, and with clay, you always want to keep the bag closed as much as possible so it doesn't dry out too fast. You should all have a wire tool as part of your kit. And what I'm going to do is cut just about 2 to 3 inches. 3 inches is going to be plenty for any project basically you want to do to start with. I like to pull with my dominant hand, and it gives a nice clean cut as opposed to a straight pull. You'll see what works for you, and it should come off nicely. Wrap up your clay. Set it aside. Now, one of the oldest ways of making a slab is throwing clay. And I'm going to start by throwing clay, then I'm going to introduce things. You may have some rulers at home that you could stack up, books. I have some wood dowels basically here, some slats. I have a rolling pin that you might find in your kitchen. These are things that are going to make it easier and you could have fun with. But we're going to go old school right now to start with. So I'm going to take my clay and on my table, and I'm just going to start to push down and go in a circle. And I'm going to thin it out. One thing you want to do is you want to lift and remove the clay. Clay can get sticky, and you can see this clay really happens to be really wet. So I try and move it around a little bit. That's where a little cloth or canvas sometimes can help, but it'll be fine. And as I work, it's going to dry out a little bit too. If you're having a problem on your surface of your table, some cornstarch, some light flour, all those things are great to throw on. It just acts as a release. It's just like cooking. It's like making dough. You want to be careful of using, if you have linoleum counters, you know, that's basically a plastic and not the best. So we start by stretching it. Now we're going to learn to spread out the clay. It's throwing it. You don't want to drop the clay. It doesn't do much to it. It doesn't move. It's basically like making a pizza or working with dough. We're going to slide the clay. I'm going to pick it up and slide it. And I flip it and change angle and slide. Flip and slide. And you can see the clay stretching, and I try and stretch it in different directions. By stretching it in different directions, it can stop cracking and warping later. So that's really important. So if you get good at this, you could actually get it to the thinness of a sheet of paper with practice. Now let's talk about some tools that may help you. Like I said, I brought some wood slats, and I make things look easy, and so will the other teachers. Look, we've been doing this for a long time. You guys are just starting. And just starting, it's always more difficult. You may not get it at the first time. So sometimes tricks like stacking a couple rules